This narration is for educational purposes only. It is not buy or sell recommendations. Good evening, fellow ES traders. It's the narration of the ESH5 for January 6th. It's the 7th today, but I missed recording yesterday's session, so let's get into it. We opened higher outside of range. So looking at this candlestick chart, these are daily candles. We have our micro composite level set and naked volume pointed controls. So these are the areas that'll be of interest to me during the RTH. We have our micro composite of all these days here, the 5988. Naked VPOC here, naked VPOC here, naked VPOC up here. So if we look at the daily candles, we see shorts in the market. They got squeezed on Friday, and now we have longs in the market. So one way to look at it is, now that we have longs in the market, there's a good chance there'll be a drop in price to flush out the longs, take those stops. So let's look at our stats too. This is, I think, from today, but it's still pretty close for high outside of range. And look at the overnight low. Of course, it's 97% chance, usually high up there. The overnight VPOG, 81% chance, 79% chance overnight high, so that's good to know. Overnight mid, 70% chance. Overnight low, only a 42% chance. So statistically, you can see that that means potential continuation going up, which hindsight you can see we did. Kind of went back and forth, but let's look at Bookmap and see. There was a trade, not recommendation, but early in ETH before RTH, which my VPI had to upload 60 hours from Bookmap, and usually it does have some variances that are incorrect, and this is one of them. The VPOC was actually up here and VWAP down here, so this is full session VWAP. I have it set to where it resets at session start for the RTH. But this was something to observe, is a VWAP back to VPOC. Not trade recommendation, but it just so happened that this was a pretty decent trade. 10 points in about 10 minutes too. Not 15 to RTH open. So not trade recommendation, but we see here at 8:30, so that you can see this pink line is the VWAP, blue line is the mid, and I didn't have it labeled, but there was a naked VPOC, I think at the 30s, might have been the 29s, but so from our stats, we know that there'll be statistically continuation up. So I'd be looking for first to see who's in control at market open, and within a minute we can see we're above VPOC. We're kind of pushing up. If you're quick, there was, I think that was the first long, but not trade recommendation. That's pretty fast. You'd have to be anticipating this behavior in order to participate, which I did not. This is more in line with me to have first a test of VPOC, another test, and now this is a test on VWAP too, so there's a little bit of a confluence there. Let's go ahead and mark this VPOC at high volume node. So not trade recommendation, but I would be looking at this area here. Come back down, test it again, but we have VPOC migration, so we actually go underneath. Now I'm kind of thinking, are we approaching a mean reversion state? Are we going to start making more moves to test that naked VPOC that I was talking about earlier? I don't have marked here, but and these are areas to look at too. Not trade recommendation, but if the statistics are to go up, a lot of the times these act as support. So until that changes, you can observe that. And targets would be the ESH5, which these are all from the day, so that would be incorrect, but I believe that 49 was the, let's see, we can actually go look and pull this chart up. So this was yesterday's ETH. What time is this? 30. I think it was, yeah, it was 40. That was the high there. Yeah, 40. So in the 40s, target. Oh, that was the target. So that was achieved. And then, if I remember right, I think we had yesterday's high too. I think that was the next target. So we have, make sure I'm in the right. Yep, that's the 6th. No, that was yesterday's high, or on Friday, I think. Yeah, on the 3rd. So I forget what the next target was, but if that was yesterday's high, that would be the next target. So from the stats, we've already reached the overnight high. The overnight VPOC was, I think, at 32 that day, so we reached that. So I believe there was, let's see, the next was a micro composite for here. Yeah, so that would be actually this. We had a high volume node here, low volume node there, so probably the 85s would be next, and then the 100, and they can be parked there. So until it breaks, it's targets you're looking for. Steadily grinding up VPOC migrations to mark that. Still trending up, and like I said, I don't have the targets. I don't know. I don't know what they were now, but except for the ones I just mentioned. And start highlighting another VPOC migration. I'm gonna highlight this high volume node here. So I kind of see that we create this little accumulation, drop out of it, trending down. Actually, this would be accumulation, this would be a distribution. Accumulation. I've been reading the Wyckoff book, very, very informative. And they actually talk about in the order book, when you have institutions and big desk traders not us retail traders, but we're kind of trying to follow their trend. They'll be in either a distribution or accumulation phase, which this is in a micro scale, and it could be here too. I'm not saying that, but for the example, if they're in accumulation, they're going to look at the order book, and once on the order book there's a difference, you're still to see liquidity being pulled from the sell passive side, and that actually creates low volume, so no real resistance for price to go up. Not trade recommendation, that's just part of the Wyckoff theory. Same thing going down. If there's a distribution phase like here, they're waiting to see buyers' liquidity being pulled. That way price can drop to whatever price they're aiming for to take profits if they're short, or just to buy back in at a lower price. It's a good book, very interesting stuff. I think there's 3. I didn't read the first one because it's about basic mechanics of the market, which I understand. This is more in depth of the actual Wyckoff theory about volume profile and order flow. So, recommend reading that book. It's really good so far. I think about like Jesse Livermore, and very interesting book. I mean, I haven't really read much about his strategies, but you look at some traders that kind of make it. Look at him; he was a bit of a gunslinger. And spoiler alert of the book. So pause if you don't want to hear it. He killed himself, which, that's for that era during the Depression and after, actually. I think during the Depression he actually did really well. He was the one that was short the market. And after that, I mean, he would buy his wife jewelry as a reserve, so when he lost all his money trading, he would go to the jeweler and get a loan from the jeweler for this expensive jewelry. But anyway, so we have let's mark this area here. So now we're obviously making lower highs. Nothing for me. It was longs. There's a couple longs in the beginning that were great trades. Being that we're still, that's where you have to come up with a trade plan in the beginning before RTH. You have to know these are my levels. Just like I was saying, now there's a naked VPOC, there is a VWAP to VPOC. Those are already highlighted on your chart. Now you're just waiting for price to reach those levels, and then you participate when you've already anticipated price coming to a certain level, and you have your target. So biggest thing too is you got to make sure you have range. If for some reason this was your target and you wanted to go short, that's plenty of range. Not trade recommendation, but if it was me, it's more than 5 points, I'm on board. The price coming down now, and we broke below VPOC, so now we're more in the waters of a mean reversion. So this was highlighted from earlier. And could be a potential long get obviously taken out, but not trade recommendation. Back to VWAP, that'd be your first resistance. But we break below test. So still nothing for me. Like I said, I don't have the other things on the chart that would help me kind of identify a trade, but is BPOC migration, which is pretty much it for the trading day. That's what I see for Monday. I'll getting ready to do the other recording for today, so see you guys in a minute.